Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon.
We have to start the session.
Okay, sir.
Very good. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Sadish sir, John sir, join ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ലെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. Okay.
Hello, sir. We are about to start.
ജോസാറിന് റെഡിയാണെന്ന് കൺഫേം ചെയ്തിട്ടേ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം. ചെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നത് മനോഹരൻ മാഷാണ്.
Yeah, Manoharan sir has just telephoning.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, Sadish. Sadish sir. Manoharan sir has some problem in joining. There is, we are trying to sort out.
ഓക്കെ. ജോസാർ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ സാറങ്ങ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തു, കുഴപ്പമില്ല. അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ
Hello, Jose sir.
മാഷ് ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യട്ടെ.
Jose sir.
ഞാൻ കോളിലൂടെ
Jose sir, are you ready? Okay. Hello, sir.
Now it's okay. Am I audible?
Yeah. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Am I audible? Yeah, please confirm.
Yeah. Audible.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
You can just initiate the session.
Okay. Yeah. Josar ready ആണല്ലോ അല്ലേ? Josar ready ആണ്.
Yeah. Please invite him to make the presentation.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Sir, Manoharan sir.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Few words about Ramakrishna Pillai from this center will be delivered. Just 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So after that you can start, it seems. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
After that. So to start with, few words about Ramakrishna Pillai, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Professor K. Ramakrishna Pillai was born.
Hello, Manohar sir.
Hello, sir. Hello. Namaskaram.
I am here. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
സമയമായോ? ആൾക്കാരൊക്കെ വന്നോ?
Yeah, we are going to start now. Namaskaram, sir.
റെഡി ആയിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു.
Namaskaram, Surendra Mash.
Okay.
Johnny sir, namaskaram. Yeah.
ആൾക്കാരെ കുറവാ അല്ലേ?
Saturday is a working day nowadays. That's also another problem. Saturday is a working day also. Start it order.
Okay, sir. Okay. We will start.
ഞാൻ തുടങ്ങാവേ. ഞാൻ ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് ഷെയർ
Okay, sir, I will just welcome back to the session 9. Now this is a very special session in honor of Professor K. Ramakrishna Pillai. everyone, most of us have very fond memories of Professor Ramakrishna Pillai. I still remember my first meeting with him when I was a young faculty member in Calicut University, and I was invited for delivering a series of lectures on stochastic processes at St. Thomas College, Pala. I remember it in 1991-92 period. Then that time I met Professor Ramakrishna Pillai, Professor Ignatius, Professor Sukumaran was there, and also at that time Dr. K.K. Jose was deeply immersed in his research work. And then we had I found him as a very simple person, but a very great teacher, dedicated teacher. I also am known that he has built up the department to a greater, highest level in terms of the teaching and research. And he only founded the Kerala Statistical Association Journal. And also he tried his best to propagate his knowledge through several textbook materials. And during our student days, his textbooks on statistics, those were very popular in the state. Sir, could you please mute your mic for a moment? Some disturbance is there now. Yeah, thank you. Now let us pay our respectful tribute to his ever loving memory, and for this session we are very glad to have a very eminent personality, none other than Dr. K.K. Jose, who was a colleague of Professor Ramakrishna Pillai in the same department, and also he was the principal of the St. Thomas College for some time, and the head of the department. And also currently he is the honorary director of School of Mathematics, Statistics and Data Analytics at MG University, Kottayam. And he is a very nationally and internationally reputed teacher, researcher in statistics. He's an elected member of the International Statistical Institute. He won Professor P.V. Sugatme Award in 2012 for his contributions statistics and biostatistics, and is an elected fellow of the Royal Statistical Society UK 2012, and several others. I cannot list them. And he is a very good friend of mine, and we are very glad to introduce him in this very important session in memory of Professor K. Ramakrishna Pillai. And he would be delivering a lecture on a very important topic, that is nowadays everyone is concerned about the risk and modeling risk and the stochastic process, how the stochastic process can be used for risk modeling. I wholeheartedly welcome Professor K.K. Jose to deliver his topic, please. Professor,
thank you, Professor Manoharan and all the organizers of the Kerala Statistical Association for giving me this opportunity to give the Professor K. Ramakrishna Pillai Endowment Lecture during the annual conference of Kerala Statistical Association. So I'm grateful to Dr. Satish Kumar, the President of Kerala Statistical Association, Dr. Dace George, who is the General Secretary of the Kerala Statistical Association, then the whole Nehru Arts and Science College, Kanyangad, teachers and principal and former principal and head of the department, Dr. Kumaran, and all colleagues for organizing this, or hosting the annual conference of Kerala Statistical Association, for taking all pains during this pandemic period. Even anyway, it's actually a very big honor to me, and I will be sharing my slide now, and I'm trying my. Can you see my slide?
No, sir.
Can you see my slide?
Not at, sir. It's coming now, it seems. It is now coming.
Yeah, now it is coming.
Yeah, it is visible now. Yeah. You can make it full screen if provision is there.
Can I make it full screen? Now it is coming.
Full screen.
Here in my computer, it is full screen. Anyway. No problem.
Okay, I think it is visible now. You can start.
So I will be saying one or two sentences about Professor K. Ramakrishna Pillai also. So Professor Ramakrishna Pillai was Professor Pillai was the professor and head of the Department of Statistics at Nandammas College, Pale, and I was his student. He was a great teacher for all of us, for all his students, and he was actually an author of a number of books. Most of the faculty members who are witnessing or who are participating in this conference, they might have studied Professor Pillai's book at the subsidiary level, subsidiary statistics. So he had written books on mathematics also for the pre-degree courses at that time, and he had other. So the list gives me some 38 books have been authored by him. He was also a good person in astrology also. So he is also a member in that circle. So he, along with Dr. R.N. Pillai, founded Kerala Statistical Association and its Journal of Kerala Statistical Association in 1978 and 1980. And he had been instrumental in popularizing statistics in Kerala through many training programs, quiz programs for students, conferences, seminars, workshops, etc. It has significantly influenced the professional development of statistics in Kerala. So that is actually what I can say. Now coming to the introduction of my talk. So on this occasion, I pay my tributes to Professor K. Ramakrishna Pillai as well as Professor R.N. Pillai. So both of them were very good close friends. They were classmates for their MSc program in the University Department of Statistics, Kerala University. So they were what you can say, very close, very intimate friends. So Professor Ramakrishna Pillai was the founder president of Kerala Statistical Association, whereas Professor R.N. Pillai was the founder of the founder editor of the Journal of Kerala Statistical Association. And later, Professor R.N. Pillai became the professor and head at the University Department of Statistics at the Kerala University, and then he became the president of the Kerala Statistical Association, and so on. So that is how the Kerala Statistical Association was formed, and it has actually developed to flourishment in statistics as far as Kerala is concerned at least. And Statistical Association was being instrumental in producing well-renowned, internationally reputed statisticians from Kerala. So coming to risk modeling, as far as risk is concerned, risk arises when there is threat for damage or injury leading to loss. So during this COVID pandemic period, there is no need for describing the importance of risk. So actually, during this period, we are all aware of the risk to our life. So we are all cautious about our life. And so the whole economy has been affected by COVID. So everywhere we are thinking about the risk because of COVID-19. Then for employment also, many people have lost their jobs. Many daily workers have lost their jobs. All of them are concerned about the risk to their livelihood, their finance, their employment, their life, and so on. So if we know the associated chance or probability, it can be avoided or its impact can be reduced at least. That is actually through preemptive action. In the modern world, there is risk in every action or decision. Risk modeling and measurement have an important role in insurance and actuarial science. And regarding the foundations of modern risk theory is concerned, the foundation of modern risk theory is concerned. Let me, I have made a mistake here. The foundation of modern risk theory is concerned, it was actually due to Philip Lenberg and Harold Kramer. So Kramer's book also many of you have studied. Then Lundberg also. The basic or classic risk model is due to Kramer-Lundberg. In recent years, many statistical distributions and counting processes are being widely used in risk modeling and analysis. Mao and Liao 2005 developed a risk model and obtained ruin probability with compound Poisson geometric process. So similarly, some other statisticians, Mingova, introduced some Polya-Apelli processes. And so this was actually a generalization of Poisson processes. And many such works are reported in the literature actually. So now I will be going to our basic concept in stochastic process. So since many of you are students also. So as far as stochastic process is concerned, it is a generalization of the concept of random variables. We are all concerned with a family of random variables. Then certainly we are having Markov processes. As far as Markov process is concerned, it is a special type of stochastic processes. So where the future behavior of the process depends only on the present, irrespective of the past. And in that case, we can say probability for xn plus 1 equal to j given xn equal to y, xn minus 1 equal to k, etc. x0. That is simply equal to probability xn plus 1 equal to j given xn equal to y. That is, the future depends only on the present, and the past has no relevance at all. So this is in the case of discrete case. So similarly, you can think of continuous type of Markov processes, and Poisson process is one among continuous parameter Markov processes. So Poisson process is the simplest counting process. So that has applications in a large variety of daily life situations. And here also, the probability for xt plus h given xt, that is actually probability that xt plus h is equal to n minus n plus 1, given that xt equal to n, that is equal to some lambda h plus some order condition OH. And probability xt plus h is equal to n given xt equal to n. That is, there is no change at all during that small time interval t to t plus h. That is equal to 1 minus lambda h plus OH. This way, so we can think of a process which has only two possibilities, a system which is evolving in time, which has only two possibilities during a short time duration. So either it may increase by 1 or there is no change. So for an increase by 1 step, for an increase or for the occurrence of one event, so the probability is some lambda into h plus OH, where h is that short time interval. And probability for no change, that is actually 1 minus lambda h plus OH. And here this lambda, that is actually referred to as the rate parameter. And if you proceed with the differential equations, and you can develop the differential equations, and if you proceed, you can solve that, and then you will be getting a Poisson distribution with the mean lambda t. So that is how actually Poisson distribution evolves in time. So that is actually the genesis. That is, this is actually something regarding the genesis of Poisson distribution as a model for rare events. So all of you have studied in your undergraduate classes. Poisson distribution is a model for rare events. So this is actually how it occurs. So then the mean of the process is actually lambda t. As far as the mean is the Poisson distribution is concerned, we know the mean, variance, and even the third moment. So all these three are equal. So now in special we are concerned with mean and variance. So it is a good fit only when the count data at hand is equidispersed, that is the mean and variance are equal. So that is actually one inherent limitation of Poisson process. So because of the Poisson nature, the mean and variance are to be equal. So but most of the count data may not be true. So in general, at least, for many count data, the sample variance is smaller or greater than the sample mean. It is known as underdispersion. Underdispersion means the variance is less than the mean, or overdispersion means the variance is greater than the mean. So in these two situations, for data which exhibits underdispersion or overdispersion, we cannot make use of the Poisson process actually. So this motivated researchers to develop alternative models, more generalized models, and so on. And one such model is actually the compound Poisson process. As far as compound Poisson process is concerned, so here we are having something like a random sum actually. So consider a Poisson process sequence ND with intensity parameter lambda. Suppose that associated with each event of the process, there is a random variable y taking values y1, y2, etc., which are assumed to be independent and identically distributed. Then you consider ZT equal to summation, k equal to 1 to nd yk, that is called a compound Poisson process. As far as the compound process is concerned, this is actually a sum of random terms. So here NT is a Poisson process. So this is actually finding application in insurance and actuarial sciences. So suppose you consider ND as the number of deaths during this month, during the month of March 2021. Suppose the general manager of an insurance company wants to keep some money for claims. So he does not know how many people will die during this month. So that NT is a random variable. So for the first person, the premium or the amount, the claim amount may be Y1. For the second person, the claim amount may be Y2, etc. For the last person is YNT. So in that case, the total claim amount to be given is actually ZT equal to sigma k equal to 1 to NT YK. So that is actually the, so similar is the case with some accidents also. So suppose some accident is taking place. So in that case, or some accidents are taking place. So in such a case also, it actually depends on, suppose two cars collide with each other. So for the first one, suppose it is Y1. For the second one, the number of persons in the first car, that is Y1, and the second car, that is Y2, or the number of deaths during this day, on a particular day. So that is actually something of this type. So in all the situations, so we are having this type of compound processes. So as far as compound processes are concerned, so the usual dealing is actually in terms of probability generating functions. So the probability generating function of a compound process, Poisson process, can be arrived at or can be determined as follows. Suppose you consider GS as the probability generating function of ZT, then GS is equal to expectation of S raised to ZT, which is actually summation n equal to 0 to infinity S raised to ZT into probability ZT equal to n minus 1. So if you proceed this way, so that is actually giving you some conditioning you have to, so since our ZT is a sum of conditioned random variables, so certainly you have to bring in the, so the final expression will be something like e raised to minus lambda t into 1 minus hs, where hs, that is the probability generating function of the Z random variables. So that way we can obtain this probability generating function. Once the probability generating function is there, you can compute the probabilities. That is actually the methodology in the case of compound Poisson processes. Now I will be coming to polyappellate process. As far as polyappellate process is concerned, so this is actually a generalization of the Poisson process. So here, so we are more concerned with the model where these ZTs are actually distributed as geometric. So in the Minkova actually developed this one. So a compound Poisson process, geometric compounding distribution is defined, and some of its possible applications in risk models are developed or are considered by them. So this is actually a very recent paper. So in 2004, they have developed this. 2014, they have developed this paper. And based on that, they have developed this one. So here, that is ND is equal to x1 plus etc. plus xn1t, where n1t is actually a homogeneous Poisson process. So here, the same thing, then the process defined is called a compound Poisson process. And if you write this exercise to be having a geometric distribution, that is actually a geometric distribution, say x1 is geometrically distributed with the parameter 1 minus rho, where rho belongs to 0, 1, that is rho in the range 0 less than or equal to rho less than or equal to 1. And support is 1, 2, 3, etc. So 0 is excluded. So that the probability generating function is actually 1 minus rho into S divided by 1 minus rho S. So then you can obtain the distribution function in a convenient form, or the distribution of the process in a very convenient form, and probability ND equal to M, that is equal to e raised to minus lambda t that is actually for m equal to 0, and for m equal to 1, 2, 3, etc., we are having e raised to minus lambda t, then sigma, that is actually an infinite sum actually. So even then, so we can see that. Hello? Any problem? No. So then we can proceed with the distribution, and then you can develop this one as a pure birth process also. So in that case, you can develop this way. So it starts with the so that is just like the axioms for Poisson distribution or Poisson process. So it starts at 0, that is n0 equal to 0. Then nd is a process with independent increments. For each t greater than the number of arrivals nd in any interval of length t is a polyapparently distributed random variable with parameters lambda t and rho. And in that case, you can see that expected value of nt, that is actually equal to lambda t divided by 1 minus rho. The only change is actually, suppose rho equal to 0, it actually becomes lambda t. So similarly, the variance is lambda t into 1 plus rho divided by 1 minus rho the whole square. So this is actually a generalization of the Poisson process. When rho equal to 0, it actually reduces to the Poisson process. And this is actually referred to as the polyapparently process. And the Fisher's index, that is actually the coefficient of variation, variance divided by expectation of ND, that is actually 1 plus 2 rho divided by 1 minus rho, and that is certainly greater than 1. Therefore, not only Poisson process is a particular case of polyapparently process, but for rho not equal to 0, the polyapparently process is over-dispersed. That is actually what you can observe. So the polyapparently process is over-dispersed, so it can be used for modeling over-dispersed data. Now we will be coming to some situations when this can be used for under-dispersed case. Then another model is actually the inflated parameter Poisson process. So in that case, for the polyapparently process, number of items in the time interval has a polyapparently distribution, and since the so it's over-dispersed, it is usually referred to as inflated actually. So this is actually the distribution probability nd equal to k for given value of lambda, it is e raised to minus lambda t, for k equal to 0, e raised to minus lambda t into sigma k minus 1 ci minus 1 and so on. So it is nothing but some inflated parameter Poisson distribution. The mean number of arrivals is actually expected value of n1t, that is lambda divided by 1 minus rho. And the waiting time distribution also we can obtain. So the inter-arrival time distributions. So you have studied the inter-arrival time distribution of a Poisson process. So in a similar manner, we can obtain the inter-arrival time distribution of the polyapparently distribution also. It is 1 minus rho into e raised to minus lambda t. So that is how we can obtain the distribution also. So this way we can come to the polyapparently process, and we will be going to the polyapparently process as a delayed renewal process also. So you can view this as a delayed renewal process also. So our second definition for polyapparently process will be as a delayed renewal process. So in that case, suppose T1, T2, etc. are mutually independent random variables where T1 is the time for the first arrival, T2, T3, etc. are the subsequent arrivals. Then, so suppose you are having T1 is exponentially distributed with the parameter lambda, then T2, T3, etc. are exponentially distributed with mass rho at 0. That is actually at so it is a combination of discrete as well as continuous random variable. So there is a probability rho at 0, which is denoted, and otherwise it is exponentially distributed, and it is usually denoted by T2 or T3, etc. following exponential lambda rho, or usually it is referred to as exponentially tailed random variables. So having a discrete component also. So in that case, ft2, that is actually 1 minus rho into e raised to minus lambda t, and ft1, that is actually this way. So that way also we can define the polyapparently process as a renewal process. So that is actually one more definition. So it is a polyapparently process with parameters. It is a delayed renewal process with the parameters lambda and rho also. So then we will be coming to some more definitions. That is actually PFP. This one can be thought of as pure birth process. So pure birth process, in that case, the probabilities of movement. So N0 equal to 0, ND is a process with independent and stationary increments. And the stationary transition probabilities you can think of as, you can define as probability NT plus H is equal to NT1, NT equal to M. That is 1 minus lambda T into H plus OH. For N equal to M, 1 minus rho into rho raised to I minus 1 lambda T into H plus OH. For N equal to M plus I, for I equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. So in that case, so you will be getting the Polyapelli process. So Polyapelli process you can think of as some simple generalization of the Poisson process, where the compounding distribution is the mixing distribution is actually the geometric distribution. Another is actually it is a delayed renewal process. Another is it is a pure birth process. So with some modifications, only that much. So now we will be coming to the inflated parameter Poisson process. So in that case, so you are having the Poisson process in this way. So now we will be coming to the concept of mixture distribution. So as far as mixture distribution is concerned, starting from the parameter distribution, we may observe two family of, if you allow the parameter to be a random variable relative distribution.
Excuse me, could I please unmute mute your mic, those who are not speaking.
Sorry, sir. Okay. So in this case, starting from the parametric model, so you allow the parameter to be a random variable. Then the unconditional distribution of the parameter is said to be a mixture distribution. And then the distribution of the parameter is called a mixing distribution. So here in the next slide, I am going to the inflated negative binomial Polya process. So in that case, actually we are concerned with, so here we are having we will define the generalization of the classical Polya process as a mixed Polyapelli process. The new generalization Polya process is called the inflated Polya process. Here, so we consider the mixing random variable gamma to be having the parameter. So that is a gamma distribution. So that is the lambda parameter is distributed as gamma. So in that case, the distribution of ND or the distribution of the process you can obtain as something like probability ND equal to M is equal to beta divided by beta plus T, the whole raised to R, then beta by beta plus T, etc. So that also will be something like the negative binomial distribution. So that is how it is referred to as inflated negative binomial. So it is referred to as inflated negative binomial Polya process. So we know negative binomial distribution is a generalization of the geometric distribution. So that way, here we are having a little more a generalized version of the Polyapelli process. And as far as the properties of this process is concerned, so the properties are the inflated negative binomial process is having somewhat the same. So in case rho equal to 0, it actually coincides with the negative binomial distribution. So that is actually the specialty. So in the earlier case, when rho equal to 0, it actually reduces to the Poisson process. And in this inflated negative binomial Poisson process, if rho equal to 0, we are getting the usual negative binomial distribution actually. So here also, so we can think of it as a counting process, and then the waiting time distributions also we can obtain. Then we can obtain, so that is actually Pareto distributed. So the waiting time distribution or the interarrival time distribution, that is actually T1, T2, etc. are distributed as Pareto. That is the speciality. And the sum also you can obtain as the sum you can obtain. It is actually a generalization of the negative binomial actually. So something like a generalization of the gamma distribution actually. So just like the waiting time distribution for the Poisson process, that is actually gamma distributed. And in this case, it will be a generalization of the gamma distribution. And coming to in particular, if you just concentrate on the mean and variance, the mean value of the process is actually expectation of NT is equal to R divided by 1 minus rho into T by beta, whereas variance of ND, that will be having this expression, but that you can think of as expectation of NT multiplied by 1 plus rho by 1 minus rho plus etc. So that is actually something depending on expectation. The variance depends on the mean also. So that is actually, or the variance is a multiple of the mean. So that is actually the speciality. So this you can think of, or this you can explain as a generalized pure birth process also. So, and the final distribution you can obtain in this form 1 minus rho, etc. for n equal to m, and for n equal to m plus k, for k equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. We'll be having one more expression. So then, now we are actually concerned with another generalization, that is actually the generalized power series. So the binomial, the Poisson distribution, in that case, we have considered the geometry, the simple situation. Then we have considered the compounding with the geometric distribution, then with the negative binomial distribution, inflated negative binomial distributions, and in general, we can think of the power series, generalized power series distribution. So the generalized power series distribution, that is actually consisting of even binomial, Poisson, then negative binomial, then logarithmic series distribution, etc. So all that way, so we have developed, one of my students in her PhD thesis had developed this work. So Ms. Shalida has developed this work, and this was published also. So here we are having the generalization of that, and that actually gives you the generalized power series distribution. So here, the binomial distribution, that is a special case. The Poisson distribution is a special case. Negative binomial is a special case. The logarithmic series also is a special case. So that way, we are proceeding. And in all these cases, so we can develop Poisson, some generalizations of Poisson process. So that is actually the next slide. So Poisson distribution. So suppose you consider the Poisson distribution in particular. So in that case, this can be considered as that is actually so g theta is divided by g theta. That is actually the probability generating function, depending on the form of g. So you have different possibilities. So that is actually the compounding situation. So probability n equal to m is equal to e raised to minus k, and e raised to for m equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. We will be having another generalization of that. Then, so now we are coming to some measures to measure, to have some idea regarding the risk involved. So for that, actually, risk measures are used. The risk is the possibility that an event will occur and adversely affect the achievement of an objective. Risk management is the core competence of financial institutions. Techniques for the measurement of risk are clearly central for the process managing this type of situations, and they are actually more concerned about risk measures maintained by the financial institutions to determine the minimum capital reserve that are required. That is actually, so risk measures are the most important measure of risk. That is actually value at risk. So most financial professionals utilize a method of risk measurement called value at risk, or VAR, VAR. So it is a well-established industry standard risk measurement technique due to J.P. Morgan. So he developed it in 1994, and it measures the risk across the whole institution under one holistic risk measure. And VAR is the quantile of the distribution of returns for an asset or portfolio. It can also be defined as the predicted worst case loss at a specified confidence level over a certain period of time. It is always specified within a given confidence interval. We define the VAR for a parameter alpha that way. So that is actually you can define that in an easy manner. So that is how you define the VAR. So another modification is actually what you mean by the tail value at risk. Tail value at risk. Tail value at risk is actually so the VAR plus some more. So the tail value at risk is considered to be more superior. It is a superior alternative to VAR. It is also labeled as conditional value at risk. That is CVAR, or expected shortfall in the literature. So VAR assesses the loss at specific confidence level, whereas the tail value at risk measures the average losses in the event that the specified confidence interval is baked. So like VAR, the PVIR is defined using some confidence level and the chosen confidence level alpha. So it is actually given by VAR at alpha plus 1 minus fx. So the distribution function comes then divided by 1 minus alpha in the expectation of x minus the variance or the VAR. So that way, that is a conditional, something like a conditional variance. So that way, we can measure the risk involved. So using one of these measures, that is either VAR or the next is tail value at risk. Now we are coming to the generalized power series Poisson process. So in this case, so the tail value at risk you can obtain, that is actually, that can be computed and that will give you the expression. So here the expression is given in 4 and 5. So there we can obtain that. Certainly the expressions are a little bit complicated, but mathematically feasible. So we can compute these values and that way we can have some idea about the risk. Suppose in that case, suppose EMJ equal to 1, and then in that case, so the generalized power series Poisson process coincides with the homogeneous Poisson process. Thus, the homogeneous Poisson process is a special case of generalized power series family also. So that also, that is also, so in all these cases, you can obtain the Poisson process as a special case. So that is the speciality of this type of processes. Now coming to some properties of the generalized power series Poisson process. So we have considered the expected value. Expected value is lambda t theta into d dash theta by g theta. So lambda t is already there. So that is actually generally the way in which it is generalized from Poisson process. So similarly, the variance of ND is lambda t theta by g theta into d dash theta plus theta into d prime, double prime theta. So that way you can obtain the covariance function, the autocorrelation function, all these things you can obtain. The Fisher's index also can be obtained. So that will give you some idea whether the mean is less than variance or variance is. So in this case, it is overinflated. That is actually the speciality of these processes. And some more properties, some more further properties. So we can obtain the inter-arrival time distribution also. The general, the probability generating function also you can obtain in a very convenient form, that is ENTS is equal to e raised to minus lambda t to 1 minus PS, and that can be very easily. So the interval time distribution also can be obtained, and that is given here. So the interval time distribution. So that is actually the usual Poisson case itself. For the Poisson process, you know, it is the exponential distribution that has been obtained in this case for the Poisson situation. So similar is the case with the waiting time distribution. So waiting time distribution you can obtain a little more complicated expression. So the Laplace transform, you can make use of the Laplace transform. The probability density function of T2 is given by this. So that way you can obtain probability distribution for T3, etc. And the waiting time distribution for the process for n events. That is actually Sn. So Fsnt that you can obtain. So certainly that is an infinite, that is a finite quantity also. So a finite sum that can be computed using computers. Now we have the martingale property also. So Fsnt is equal to 1 minus Sn, and that you can show that it is actually a martingale. That is actually what is proved here. So that is expectation of mt given Fn. That is actually having, that is so mt equal to nd minus that m into lambda into the martingale with respect to this probability space omega f1 rho. So that also, that is actually some probabilistic properties. Then applications in risk analysis. So consider the standard risk model. Then the usual Kramer-Lenberg model is actually xt equal to ct minus sigma k equal to 1 to nd zt. So ct, that is actually the premium. C is a premium. So suppose you have t units, then that is actually the total amount you have spent is ct. Then the claim amount is actually sigma k equal to 1 to nd zt. So that the difference, that is actually the profit for the company. So the claim size is sigma zk distributed as random variable. Then so the claim amount is actually sigma k equal to 1 to nd zk. So ct minus sigma k equal to 1 to nd zk, that is xt. That is actually the profit for the company. So that is actually that you can obtain And you can see the relative safety, that is another measure, relative safety loading. That is actually expectation of XT divided by expectation of sum of XT. That is also, you can obtain in this case, the position of safety loading is, that is actually what is the condition that it is positive. So all those conditions you can obtain very easily. So that way we can evaluate the risk model developed. Then coming to the joint PDF of the time to ruin and deficit. So all these are actually of importance. So sometimes one may be more concerned about the time to ruin, whereas some persons may be more concerned about the deficit amount. So sometimes some persons may want to delay the ruin. So in such a case, you want actually to find the time to ruin. Whereas someone want to reduce the deficit, in such a case, you will be more concerned about the distribution of deficit. All this you can obtain. Then the probability of ruin. So all these are actually involving differential equations, stochastic differential equations, and so on. So actually, the solutions can be obtained. Some computer intensive methods you have to make use of nowadays with the use of these, computer programs. Certainly this can be evaluated. So now I have considered a very simple case, that is exponentially distributed case. In that case, we can obtain the value, and that is actually a very simple expression actually. Expectation of x is equal to mu divided by g theta into sigma k into theta raised to k, or mu into g prime theta by g theta. So that way you can obtain, and the sizes of the claims also you can find. Now survival function also you can obtain. Survival function is that is h bar s, that is equal to some expression, that is some q bar k minus 1 and so on. And in the case of exponential distributed types, it is lambda mu divided by c into summation k in s. That way you can obtain. Similar is the case with aggregate loss and claims. So what is the total loss? Aggregate loss distribution and aggregate claims distribution have been widely discussed in the insurance literature. See, for example, some papers by Panjar, Depril, Khan, and so on. In the so here actually the model is actually XT equal to CT minus sigma, 1 to I equal to 1 to N T SI, and the convolution. So the distribution is in terms of the convolution. Then CDF of claim amount we can obtain, and that is actually GXT, that is probability XT less than or equal to X, and that you can obtain as H bar CT minus XT, and this also you can compute numerically. And then some special cases we have considered. Special cases means the binomial Poisson process. So that is actually the compounding model is actually the binomial Poisson process, a compound Poisson process, the binomial compounding distribution, and that is very easily tractable. Then the Poisson process can be obtained, and in that case the compounding distribution is the Poisson one, and another is the negative binomial.
Hello, Joe sir. Sorry to interrupt. Please conclude within 2 minutes.
So now the logarithmic series Poisson process you can obtain. So in that case, the compounding distribution is the logarithmic distribution. Then finally, to applications I have already mentioned. This type of risk models are finding applications in actuarial context. In the case of an insurance company, there is randomness associated with the claims, frequencies, claim sizes, returns, etc. For investors in stock markets also, risk is a main factor of concern. Risk is there in all our activities, and hence risk modeling is a very important thing. Certainly it is more important in this COVID pandemic era. So coming to conclusions, we have discussed the compound Poisson process and FLE processes, then generalizations, inflated Poisson process, inverted negative binomial Poisson process, then generalized power series Poisson process. In a similar manner, you can develop generalized power series, negative binomial, or other distributions. Its applications in risk modeling analysis concerned, and certainly computations are not reported here. What is that? So these are the references. The main references are due to very recent works, Minkov, etc., and Grandel's book on risk theory, that is the standard textbook, mixed Poisson processes or aspects of risk theory. And I'm concluding with by paying tributes to Professor Ramakrishna Pillai. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Now we have time for a couple of questions, very quick questions. Yeah, please. Yeah. Any question? Yeah, please mute your mic. Some noise is coming. Yeah, okay. So let us wind up the session. And in this particular discussion, Professor Jose has given an overview of the stochastic processes and methods used in the risk management. In fact, it was a very splendid exposition of several basic processes. He started with the Markov process, continuous time Markov chains, discrete time Markov chains, then compound Poisson processes, then Polya-Apelli process, then over-dispersed and under-dispersed distributions like inflated Poisson, parameter Poisson process, binomial process, and also a few important application-oriented processes like generalized power series distribution processes. And also he discussed the risk management measures like VAR and CVAR, and also touched upon the martingale processes and some applications in this area. So I should say that given the random nature of the future events on the financial markets, the field of stochastic processes obviously plays a very important role in the quantitative risk management. Let me suggest the youngsters, they shall provide simulations of these procedures with some software codes as well. So let us wind up this session by offering tribute to the great legend, Professor K. Ramakrishna Pillai, and also thank the Professor K.K. Jose for his wonderful presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Manoharan, and thank you, the organizers. Thank you very much. So only very few have worked in this risk modeling in Kerala.
Yes,
so
yes.
Many of them. So the phase type distributions, etc., you can include here. You can bring here.
People have already applied it. Insurance and risk theory, phase type distribution is applied. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
So now we are having the general body meeting, I think.
So over to the organizers. Thanks to everyone for patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Manoharan, for chairing this session. And thank you, Dr. K.K. Jose, for making the Professor Ramakrishna Pillai endowment lecture. We are in the section. The session will be chaired by Dr. M. Kumar. So initially, it was to be chaired by Dr. C. Sadish Kumar, but he informed that since he has to chair the next session also, Dr. Kumar himself, who was instrumental in making this program a success, shall chair this session. So we requested Dr. M. Kumar himself to chair this session. Sir, over to you to take over the chair.
We recognize the presence of Professor Yagin Thomas. Hello, sir. Namaskaram.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Yeah.
Varan sir. Another voluntary section. Varan sir.
Yeah, this voluntary section. Let us begin. I request Dr. Radhakrishnan to offer the welcome address of the voluntary section. Radhakrishnan.
Yagin sir, adjust your mic.
Okay.
You cannot.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
So shall we start?
Yes, yes.
Respected Chair, Dr. M. Kumaran sir, distinguished personalities often on the dais, and those who are viewing this program online and their participants. A warm welcome to this session, marking the conference part of this 3-day program. I'm standing before you with a great pleasure because of the feeling that we have organized this conference without any serious problems. Now, of course, there were minor problems due to poor connectivity on the part of some of the participants. And the number of joining was not very attractive. However, there were group participations from some centers with the use of projectors. Some colleges informed us that their students and staff are observing this function by projecting in a seminar hall. And we are grateful to the KSA for their support and directions, without which we couldn't have made this program a great success. This program will be chaired by Dr. N. Kumar, who was with us for the last 1 week to ensure that the program will be organized without any problems. Actually, because of his support that we could make it a success, despite the fact that all the members of the department are very junior in their service. With utmost pleasure and respect, I welcome Dr. M. Kumaran to this function. The results of the competitions held in this connection will be announced by Professor Agin Thomas, who is a very senior statistics teacher and the leader of KSA. With utmost pleasure, I welcome Dr. Agin Thomas to this function, sir.
Okay.
I welcome all the professors and participants who are observing this function. And at the last, this function will be, the vote of thanks will be done by Dr. A. Udaya. I welcome Dr. A. Udaya to this function. Once again, welcoming all the participants to this function. I request Dr. M. Kumaran to chair this function. Thank you.
Good evening to all the participants. Very happy to see that Professor Yagin also has joined this program.
Thank you.
In fact, we were expecting his role as a very distinguished senior statistician from the first day onwards. But unfortunately, the situation did not allow. But still, I'm very happy, sir. Thank you very much for participating in the validity session. Now, as already indicated, we were able to host this program just because of the support and guidance of Kerala Statistical Association. Now, as already indicated, we had a lot of problems in conducting this program and making it a success. However, one of the plus point is that at the very initial stage, when I actually contacted some of the senior statisticians around, then with a single message itself, all of them agreed to cooperate. So that shows their dedication as well as commitment to the subject. At this juncture, I actually regard this as the great motivation for us to go ahead with the successful conduct of the program. Now, regarding the success and other pitfalls, it is for the participants to indicate. But as far as we organizers are concerned, our concern is whether we could actually keep the time schedule. So in that aspect, I suppose that I believe that except one or two sessions, all other sessions actually were running as per our schedule itself. Then after the 20 invited speakers, all of them were present and there were no omissions, and the lectures were very, very informative and useful to the research community. Noteworthy is the talk by Professor Vimal Sinha, that is keynote address. Literally, it was a keynote address itself as per the responses of the participants. Now, there were about the 21 contributory sessions they registered, but out of which we had about 19 presented in the seminar. So that way also, it was somewhat like satisfactory from the side of the organizers. Now, regarding the participants, in fact, we had about 100 odd offline participants at this center, and as Dr. Radhakrishnan has indicated, at some colleges, similar audience were there. But the online participation, even though it was end up to say nearly 80 and above, at some occasions, on the average, it was actually between 20 and 30 sometimes. So there were occasions it was above 50, but in many of the presentations it was noted to be between 30 and 40, like that. So, and again, as people have remarked, the youngsters were very reluctant to participate, particularly those who came forward for contributory sessions. Some of them were present only for their presentation. Immediately after that, they left the scene. So that happens to be something like very discouraging. In fact, the future of the subject is on the hands of the youngsters, and it's the youngsters who are to show more commitment and dedication. Now, other things which I don't want to highlight at this stage, it is for the participants to the report. Now, remember the one component of success of this kind of online program is the IT support that is very, very crucial for the conduct of program. And as far as our college, our department, as well as this program is concerned, we had the full support of the IT department of the college and the staff members of the department, particularly Sarita and Midhun and other members. Then people of other departments, say faculties of other departments who were good in actually handling these gadgets, they were actually being present throughout the session for the successful conduct of the program. Even 2 days ahead itself, they have performed this trial run and all that. So that way, it was actually, if at all we had any success, that success goes to the hard work and dedication of the IT people of the college. Now, I don't want to speak more with these few words. I conclude my remarks as chair of the session, and I request Professor Yagin Thomas to make some remarks. Sir, Yagin Thomas, sir.
So, good afternoon to you all, my dear friends. And I am very happy that I am talking with you on this last session of Kerala Statistical Association meeting, annual meeting. And even in spite of the difficulties faced by COVID-19, our organizations were successful in handling this seminar and this annual general body meeting. So I'm very happy. I congratulate you for this noble venture by organizing this conference and annual general body meeting. And on this occasion, I remember with pride the part played by the 7 retiring teachers, Professor T. Vijayan, Professor Somasegaran Pillai, Professor Alex Thanipara, Professor Greta Adelphonse, Professor Davis Muntaseri, Professor Sida Lakshmi, and Professor Lida. They have served as 7 strong pillars of Kerala Statistical Association for a very long period of time. They have contributed much in their capacity for the prosperity of this Kerala Statistical Association. I congratulate them and I appreciate them for their noble effort in serving Kerala Statistical Association and the statistical community of Kerala State. And in their capacity, some of them have organized that annual general body meeting together with the Kerala Statistical Association. And some of them have actually taken key positions like, say, General Secretary of Kerala Statistical Association and other office bearers of Kerala Statistical Association. All of them contributed in one way or other for the smooth functioning and the other affairs of Kerala Statistical Association. And they are retiring from their position. And on this occasion, I wish them a good health and a long life in their future also. And let them be interested with the statistics, and they have a good opportunity to serve with the Kerala Statistical Association in the coming days also. So let God give them long life and good health. And I congratulate them, appreciate them, and pray for them on this occasion. So with this words, I conclude.
Sir, you have to announce the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, you have to announce the result.
Okay, okay. Shall I proceed? Shall I proceed?
Yeah.
Okay. And all of you know about Professor T.S.K. Muthad, and for a long period of time, he has inspired statisticians, both young and say old, in associating with the statistical fraternity and statistical profession. And he was the inspiring force for the research community, which are contributing a lot nowadays. He has inspired them, he has helped them, he has guided several scholars, and that made them to acquire PhD degree, and some of them retired, and some of them are in the important positions, and they are undergoing their professional career even now with a good spirit. So it is good thing that Kerala Statistical Association has actually organized Professor T.S.K. Muthad Best Paper Award in honoring him for the great services rendered to statistical community. On this occasion, that competition award has been evaluated, and it goes to Babu MG for his paper on a generalized class of variable distributions and applications. It was a joint work with Dr. K. Jaykumar. I appreciate him, congratulate him that he is selected for the Professor T.S.K. Best Paper Award. Mr. Babu, go ahead with your statistical profession, render more and more good works, and let you have a bright future, and let your research be very useful to the statistical community as well as the modern society of the whole globe. With these words, let the praise be given to Sri Babu MT. He is from Yes, he is this work he has jointly completed with Dr. K. Jayagumar of Calicut University. Yes, give the prize. Now, all of you know that Professor Arun Pillai has contributed much to statistical community, and in a way, when statistics was almost with no results, he came into the picture. He actually inspired people to do research work in statistics, and many good scholars have emerged out of his effort. Professor K. Jayagumar and Professor K.K. Jose and many others are his byproducts in Kerala, and his research are high valued theories generated in statistics, and it is good that Kerala Statistical Association has organized Professor Arun Pillai Young Statistician Award, and this year a competition was held, and the first winner of this competition is Dr. Somanath T. Pawar, Assistant Professor, Department of Statistics, Shivaji University. I congratulate him for his nice presentation, and a good theory was presented. So he is selected for the award. I declare that Dr. Somanath T. Pawar won through this award. Professor Arun Pillai Young Statistician Award. The next one is Dr. U.S. Nair Memorial All Kerala Intercollegiate Competition. All of you know that Professor U.S. Nair is the founder professor of statistics, and he has actually inspired the statistics profession in Kerala. He is a theoretician as well as a professor who inspired applications of statistics in various branches of sciences. And I could remember that he has selected a team of workers, including Professor Pillai, who actually done his initial works in Department of Statistics, and he has even invented what is known as Pillai statistics and multivariate analysis. And he himself has made several contributions and inspired the young generation to pursue their career in statistics. So it is good that Kerala Statistical Association has instituted Dr. U.S. Nair Memorial All Kerala Intercollegiate Competition. It has been held from 1980 onwards continuously, and in this year again, this competition actually was conducted, and the first prize goes to Elizabeth Joy and Lakshmi Ye, Marathanius College, Kodamangalam, and they will be given the ever-rolling trophy with the cash prize and certificates. I congratulate the winners of this competition in the first place. The second prize goes to Anusri Ramahendran and Sri Lakshmi P, both from Nehru Arts and Science College, Kanjangada, Kannur University. They will have a cash prize with the certificates. I congratulate this young group of 2 students and let them pursue their further education in statistics and let them be good contributors of statistics. So the second prize is given to Anusri Ramachandran and Sri Lakshmi P. The third prize goes to Aditya Pradeep and Anurag K, Mahatma Gandhi College, Iriti of Kannur University, and they will receive a cash prize together with certificates. I congratulate this group of 2 youngsters also to pursue their education in statistics and contribute to statistics and achieve their merits in continuing with the statistical education and statistical research. I congratulate all the 3 groups once again young group and let them, don't go away from this important stream of statistics. Continue with the statistics and let them experience the benefits of statistics profession and contribute for statistics. With these words, I conclude.
Hello, sir. Kumaran, sir.
Okay.
Thank you again, sir. Hello, Kumaran,
Sir,
sir.
sir. Now I request some of the participants to offer a few words about feedbacks. So online participants will be there. If at all anyone is speaking, one or two can speak few words.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir.
Anyone?
Sir, I am Deepthi. Is this
Yeah, very good. Okay, Deepthi. Yeah.
research scholar from Department of Statistical Sciences, Kannur University. The conference was very well organized and the committee made a great effort. On behalf of all the research scholars from the Department of Statistical Sciences, Kannur University campus, Mangatuparamba, I thank the organizing committee for conducting this 3-day international virtual conference. And I'm so glad that I could associate with this international conference by presenting a paper. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Deepthi. Okay, then. So, anyone else want to speak? Anyone else?
So, Sir Binumar here.
Yeah, very well. Welcome, Binu. Okay.
Yeah. So, very good afternoon to all. I could see many of our teachers, including Yagin sir here. First of all, I would appreciate the effort taken by the Kanjangad Neuro Arts and Science College and under the leadership of Kumaran sir and the teacher. And the conference was well organized, and even we could see responses from various faculties and students from representation from different parts of the country. And what I have seen that Kumaran sir already pointed out, because the contribution from the young generation, young scholars is relatively, remarkably very less in this conference. I think KSA should take initiation to make it more attractive, and people should come forward to present their work. And in almost all presentations, what I have seen is the discussion when even after the presentation, when it comes to discussion and interaction from the participants, it's relatively less. That should have to be improved, because sometimes people may think that it is whether I am going to ask is the right question or not, but still, at least as a point of to get clarified with a certain concept, they can ask certain questions. So that makes it. But at the outset, I would like to thank the entire team to make the event as a great success. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you for the remarks. Okay.
Sir, can I, sir?
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Santosh from Shivaji University, Kolhapur.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm Santosh from Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Let me congratulate all the organizers for successfully conducting this this international conference. I was there for the R.N. Pillai Young Statistician Award for the competition. Thank you so much, the evaluators who have given me chance to present my work over there, and all the points that evaluators has raised. I will just take care of this thing, and I'm happy to interact online with the Yagin Thomas sir, Satish Kumar sir, and Josh sir. So thank you so much, organizing team, for giving me the chance to present my work over there. And let me congratulate to all of you. Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Sir, can I, sir?
Yeah, here. Okay. It is Hari, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Just 1 or 2 minutes. Okay.
Yes, sir. Very good afternoon to all the senior professors and my teachers, because I can see all my teachers starting from Kumaran sir, Radhakrishnan sir, Manoharan sir, Jaykumar sir, Sadish sir, Agin sir, and all. So very good afternoon to all of you. Regarding this conference, yes, I am also completely agreeing with what Dr. Binu Kumar said. Yes, it was nicely arranged and a well-organized workshop, well-organized conference. So whenever you are assessing a conference, because yes, online conference, you have been experienced for the last 1 year regarding this online conference. Very important is the technical support, as Kumaran sir has already mentioned that there's a very good technical support, and it was so amazing to see the technical support and technical aspect. Second one is the time concept, is the time management. The time management is fantastic, and almost all the sessions were started on time and ended on time. And really, it goes to the chairperson of each what sessions and the organizers as well. Third one is the quality of presentations. Yes, whatever the presentations made as regarding the quality was, yes, quality was also good regarding with respect to the subject is concerned. So another one is the participants. Yeah, people are keep on telling that. See, in the last session also, because 30 to 40 participants were attending it. So just imagine, because if you are having the offline presentations, how many participants, how many delegates will be available in the last session. But regarding maybe an advantage of this online, still we have a 30 to 40. So as far as I am concerned, it's not a bad in attendance. But as sir has already mentioned that because the youngsters, the participation of the youngsters, especially students and PhD scholars. So it is being a teacher or being a faculty, yes, it is our responsibility as well to motivate our residents, our students and the PhD scholars to participate in this type of conference, especially the scientific piece or academic piece, and it's our responsibility being a teacher. And we all should take the responsibility to motivate our students to participate in that one. So regarding, because for the last 3 days, we are just repeatedly, we are just listening that, yes, as far as the Department of Statistics, Neuroscience and Science College is concerned. So I'm very happy that because, sir, and the department is in the right hands now, because you have very young, good team, Dr. Rekha, Dr. Ravli, and Dr. Zaya. So they have already shown within the short period of time, with the short, duration, they have already proven that, yes, they can take up further. Where you people have stopped the academics during retirement. Yes, these 3 pillars, they are the 3 pillars. Yes, they can take it up. They already proven by conducting this international conference. They already proven that yes, they can take it forward further from this point of. So congrats to the Rekha, and Lovely and Udaya, and they are able to work under the guidance of you and Kumaran sir and Radhakrishnan sir. And definitely they will take it up further, sir. So with this, as the conference was nicely conducted, I also agree with Dr. Santosh sir. It is well organized workshop, and this conference, really speaking, because we have been attending a lot of webinars for the last 1 year, and yes, it is one of the, it is a grand success. I would consider, yes, it's a grand success in all perspective, technical, time management, and the quality of the presentation is concerned. Thanks to the organizers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very. I suppose that we may pass on to the next item in the agenda. There is vote of thanks. I invite Dr. Udaya to offer the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Respected Chair Dr. M. Kumaran, Professor Yagin Thomas, distinguished online and offline personalities of this conference, and dear participants, students, and friends. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this grand occasion. I am sure that this 3-day international virtual conference was full of knowledge, and it gave us an insight into the various topics of statistics. On behalf of the entire fraternity of the Institute and my own, first of all, I would like to thank My sincere thanks to Dr. C. Satish Kumar, President, Kerala Statistical Association, Dr. Dias George, Secretary, KSA, for giving us an opportunity to host this three-day international virtual conference on statistics in the era of pandemic, that is STEP. It was really a very good step for all of us. We are thankful to Dr. N. Balakrishna, President, ISPS, for inaugurating this conference. Our sincere gratitude to Dr. Bimal Sinha, University of Maryland, USA, for the keynote address. Thank you, sir, for your very thought-provoking and interesting address. Next, I would like to thank Dr. K.S. Rao and Dr. K.K. Joss for the endowment lectures. We are grateful to our beloved principal, Dr. T. Vijayan, for his guidance and moral support. Our heartfelt thanks to Management Committee and PTA Committee of Nehru Arts and Science College, Kanangar, for the mental and financial support. This program is really enriched by the presence and involvement of Professor Yagin Thomas. We are thank you, sir. A special mention to our venerable former principal and former HOD, Dr. M. Kumaran, being the catalyst that inspired us to do the best and stand as a pillar of the power throughout the conference. With deep sense of appreciation, we thank you, sir. Our very hearty vote of thanks to all 20 invited speakers and 9 contributory speakers and eminent chairs for raising their important work and sharing with us their findings and opinions. I am also thankful to all the online and offline participants for making this conference a magnificent one. I convey my hearty thanks to our former HOD, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, sir, for his valuable support and guidance. We thank you, sir, for being with us. I take this opportunity to thank the entire technical committee, especially Dr. K.V. Murali, Dr. K.V. Vinish Kumar, Mr. A.V. Midun, Mrs. K.V. Anita, Mr. K. Shashi, Mr. Subin, and Mr. Vivek for providing their valuable support in time to the conference. I acknowledge the unwavering support receiving from all the faculties and staff members of Nehru Arts and Science College, Kanangar. I want to thank all the students who really work hard to make this event successful. Just for the sake of formality, I thank my fellow teachers, Dr. P. Rekha, Dr. Lovely Abraham, Sumalada A, Sunila B, and Sadma T, who have been working hard for the past several years for the success of the program. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight and needs meticulous planning and execution and an eye for details. I once again thank everyone for their involvement and willingness they have expressed to make this conference a successful one. Thank you all.
On behalf of the Kerala Statistical Association.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. On behalf of Kerala Statistical Association, I add a few words to in the vote of thanks. In fact, yeah, we are very much happy to have this conference held in this place, mainly, and the conference was a great success, mainly because of the hard works of especially Kumaran sir and Radhakrishnan sir, Rekha teacher, Lovely teacher, and all the team of the Nehru Arts and Science College. So I wish to extend our heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the Kerala Statistical Association to the organizers of this conference for making this highly in the high-level international conference. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so the program from our end is almost over. Now it is for the KSA to conduct the annual general meeting.
So I hope, teacher, it is in another platform, isn't it?
No, sir, in the same joining only, but the KSA members only will join.
Okay, so we can continue.
Same platform, sir.
Okay. You mentioned earlier that's why.
No. Then they're in the same platform only.
I think a separate link was given, but that is same as this one.
No, sir, this one only.
Yeah. It's separately informed, but the link is same as this.
Yeah, sir. The same link. Now it is the time for the general body meeting of Kerala Statistical Association. So all the KSA members kindly join the meeting. Sadish sir, shall we start?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
So let us start the program with a silent prayer.
Yeah.
The welcome speech by Dr. Dace George, Secretary, Kerala Statistical Association. Respected C. Sadish Kumar sir, the chair of the meeting and the president of KSA. The other dignitaries present here in the meeting and all the KSA members. This is the third day of the annual conference of Kerala Statistical Association 2021 on statistics in the era of pandemic. First of all, let me thank the organizers and especially the management, the principal and the faculty members of Nehru Arts and Science College. And a special thanks to Kumaran sir, Radhakrishnan sir, Kumaran sir, the former principal, Radhakrishnan sir, the former HOD, and the current HOD, Rekha teacher, then lovely teacher, Uday teacher, and all the faculty members who are associated with it for making this seminar a grand success. Now let me switch on to Malayalam for the convenience. So, നമ്മുടെ പൂർവികരായ ആകൽഭ്യവും സേവന സന്നദ്ധതയും അർപ്പണബോധവും കൈമുതലായിട്ടുള്ള അധ്യാപകരാൽ കെട്ടിപ്പടുക്കപ്പെട്ട് വളർന്ന് അതിന് 42 വർഷം പിന്നിട്ട് KSA മുന്നോട്ട് പോവുകയാണ്. അതിനെ കൂടുതൽ ഊർജ്ജസ്വലമായി പ്രവർത്തിപ്പിക്കേണ്ടുന്നതും ഇതിലെ ഊർജ്ജസ്വലരും പ്രഗത്ഭരുമായ അംഗങ്ങളാണ്. സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സിന്റെ മേഖലയിൽ നാം ഇന്ന് നേരിട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന വിഷയങ്ങളും പ്രശ്നങ്ങളും പരിഹരിക്കപ്പെടാനും വളരുന്ന തലമുറയെ ഇന്നത്തെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളെ നേരിടാൻ മാത്രം കോമ്പറ്റീറ്റീവാക്കി വളർത്താനും ഉതകുന്ന ഒരു വേദിയായി കേരള സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്കൽ അസോസിയേഷൻ വളരട്ടെ, വളരണം. അതിനായി നമുക്ക് ഒന്നിച്ച് പരിശ്രമിക്കാം. ഇന്നത്തെ നമ്മുടെ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാമിന്റെ അധ്യക്ഷപദം അലങ്കരിക്കുന്നത് കേരള സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്കൽ അസോസിയേഷന്റെ പ്രസിഡന്റ് കൂടിയായ ഡോക്ടർ സി സതീഷ് കുമാർ സാറാണ്. സാറിന്റെ ലീഡർഷിപ്പും സേവന സന്നദ്ധതയും ആണ് ഈ വർഷത്തെ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം ഇത്രയും മനോഹരമാക്കി കൊണ്ടുപോകാൻ നമ്മെ സഹായിച്ചത്. സാറിനെ ഈ വേദിയിലേക്ക് ഞാൻ സഹർഷം സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്തുകൊള്ളുന്നു. നമ്മുടെ KSAയുടെ പേട്രൻസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഡോക്ടർ യാഗിൻ തോമസ് സാറും ഡോക്ടർ KK ജോസ് സാറും അവരുടെ കരുതൽ നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങളും എപ്പോഴും നമ്മോടൊപ്പം ഉണ്ട്. നമ്മളെ KSAയുടെ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ ഭംഗിയാക്കി കൊണ്ടുപോകുവാൻ അത് വളരെ പ്രാപ്തമാക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. യാഗിൻ സാറ് നമ്മുടെ കഴിഞ്ഞ സെക്ഷനിൽ നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ചേർന്നിരുന്നു. ജോസ് സാർ ആദ്യം മുതൽ തന്നെ നമ്മോടൊപ്പം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഇപ്പോഴും ഉണ്ട്. യാഗിൻ സാറിന് വളരെ അത്യാവശ്യമായിട്ട് പോകണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നുകൊണ്ട് സാർ എന്നോട് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു 3 മണിക്ക് ഫെലിസിറ്റേഷൻ വെക്കണമെന്ന്. പക്ഷെ നമ്മുടെ സമയം അല്പം കടന്നു പോയത് കൊണ്ട് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു സാർ ലീവ് ചെയ്തതായിട്ടാണ് കാണുന്നത്. സാറിനെയും ജോസ് സാറിനെയും ഞാൻ ഈ മീറ്റിംഗിലേക്ക് സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്തുകൊള്ളുന്നു. റിട്ടയർ ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷവും അതിനു മുമ്പും KSAയുടെ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് എപ്പോഴും ഒരു വെളിപ്പാട് അകലത്തില് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പ്രാപ്തനാണ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ പ്രിയങ്കരനായ ജോണി സാർ. ജോണി സാറിന്റെ നിസ്വാർത്ഥ സേവനങ്ങളെ ഏറെ സ്നേഹത്തോടെയും നന്ദിയോടെയും ഓർത്തുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ സാറിനെ മീറ്റിംഗിലേക്ക് സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഇനി ഞാൻ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യേണ്ടുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ ഇന്നത്തെ മീറ്റിംഗിന്റെ ഗസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് വരുന്ന നമ്മുടെ റിട്ടയർ ചെയ്യുന്ന 7 അധ്യാപകരെയാണ്. പ്രൊഫസർ ടി വിജയൻ, പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ നെഹ്റു ആർട്സ് ആൻഡ് സയൻസ് കോളേജ്, ഈ ആനുവൽ കോൺഫറൻസ് ഹോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത കോളേജിന്റെ പ്രിൻസിപ്പളാണ്. ഞാൻ 1996 നിർമ്മലഗിരി കോളേജിൽ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഞങ്ങൾ ഒന്നിച്ച് വാല്യുവേഷൻ ക്യാമ്പുകളിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. വളരെ പ്രഗത്ഭനായ ഒരു അധ്യാപകൻ, പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ. Then Professor Somasekaran Pillai sir from University College Trivandrum, മിടുക്കനായ ഒരു സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റീഷ്യൻ. പ്രൊഫസർ സീതാലക്ഷ്മി ടീച്ചർ, ഹെഡ് ഓഫ് ദി ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് നിർമ്മല കോളേജ് മൂവാറ്റുപുഴ, എന്റെ ടീച്ചറാണ്. തക്കതായ അസൗകര്യമുള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് ടീച്ചറിനെ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിക്കില്ല എന്ന് അറിയിച്ചിരുന്നു. Then Professor Davidson Cheri, ഹെഡ് ഓഫ് ദി ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് ആൻഡ് കൺട്രോളർ ഓഫ് എക്സാമിനേഷൻസ്, ക്രൈസ്റ്റ് കോളേജ് ഇരിങ്ങാലക്കുട. നമ്മുടെ ഇതിന് തൊട്ട് മുമ്പ് KSAയുടെ സെക്രട്ടറി ആയിരുന്നു. വളരെ ആക്റ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളൊരു റിസർച്ചർ ആൻഡ് എക്സിക്യൂട്ടീവ് മെമ്പർ. Then പ്രൊഫസർ അലക്സ് തള്ളിപ്പാറ, HOD സെന്റ് തോമസ് കോളേജ് പാല. സാറ് കോവിഡ് പാൻഡമിക്കിന്റെ ഒരു വിക്ടിമാണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. സാറ് ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു. മുൻ MG യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി സിൻഡിക്കേറ്റ് മെമ്പറാണ്. Then പ്രൊഫസർ ലത പി, ശ്രീശങ്കര വിദ്യാപീഠം കോളേജ് വളയംചിറങ്ങര. ടീച്ചറെ ഞാനും ഒന്നിച്ച് പലപ്പോഴും പ്രീ വാല്യുവേഷൻ ബോർഡുകളിൽ ഒന്നിച്ച് കാണാറുണ്ട്. നല്ല സ്നേഹനിധിയായ ഒരു ടീച്ചർ. Then Dr. Greta Iafons from വൈസ് പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ ഫാത്തിമ മാതാ കോളേജ് കൊല്ലം. ടീച്ചറും എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ഏതാണ് ഈ അടുത്ത കാലങ്ങളിൽ ഒഴിച്ചാൽ മിക്കവാറും നമ്മളുടെ കോൺഫറൻസുകളിലും പരിപാടികളിലും ഒക്കെ ഒരു ആക്റ്റീവ് മെമ്പർ ആയിരുന്നു. ഈ 7 പേരുടെയും നിസ്വാർത്ഥ സേവനങ്ങളെ നന്ദിയോടെ സ്മരിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഏവരെയും ഞാൻ ഈ മീറ്റിംഗിലേക്ക് സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്തുകൊള്ളുന്നു. ഇവരുടെ റിട്ടയർമെന്റ് ലൈഫ് നന്മ നിറഞ്ഞ, അഭിവൃദ്ധി നിറഞ്ഞ, ആരോഗ്യപ്രദമായ ഒന്നാവട്ടെ എന്ന് സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം ആശംസിക്കുന്നു. ഈ വർഷത്തെ ആനുവൽ കോൺഫറൻസിനെ ഇത്രയും മികച്ചതായി തീർത്തത് നെഹ്റു ആർട്സ് ആൻഡ് സയൻസ് കോളേജിലെ പ്രിൻസിപ്പലും ഫാക്കൽറ്റി സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിലെ ഫാക്കൽറ്റി മെമ്പേഴ്സും എല്ലാത്തിനും ഉപരി നമ്മുടെ കുമാരൻ മാഷും രാധാകൃഷ്ണൻ മാഷും ഒക്കെയാണ്. സാറിന്റെ ഒരു ഇവരുടെ എല്ലാം നേതൃത്വവും സഹകരണവുമായിരുന്നു ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാമിനെ ഇത്രയേറെ മികച്ചതാക്കി തീർത്തത്. എവരെയും ഞാൻ ഈ മീറ്റിംഗിലേക്ക് സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്തുകൊള്ളുന്നു. ഇനി ഞാൻ സ്വാഗതം ആശംസിക്കേണ്ടുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ മുൻ വർഷങ്ങളിലെ പ്രസിഡന്റുമാർ, ബാലകൃഷ്ണൻ സാർ ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ട്, ജയകുമാർ സാറ്, മുൻ സെക്രട്ടറിമാര് ഡേവിസ് മുണ്ടശ്ശേരി സാറുണ്ട്, ദെൻ തബാസ്റ്റിൻ സാറുണ്ട്, മുൻ ട്രഷറർ, മറ്റ് മുൻ എക്സിക്യൂട്ടീവ് മെമ്പേഴ്സ്, ഏവരെയും അവരുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെയും സേവനങ്ങളെ ഓർത്തുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഏവരെയും സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം ഈ മീറ്റിംഗിലേക്ക് ഞാൻ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്തുകൊള്ളുന്നു. ഏതൊരു പ്രസ്ഥാനത്തിന്റെയും വിജയം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അതിലെ ഊർജ്ജസ്വലരായ മെമ്പേഴ്സ് ആണ്, അവരുടെ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളാണ്. KSAയുടെ കാര്യത്തിലും മറിച്ചല്ല. എല്ലാ KSA മെമ്പേഴ്സിനെയും ഈ മീറ്റിംഗിലേക്ക് സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി
Hello, teacher. Class teacher. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sadiq sir, I invite you for the presidential address. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay,
sir.
ടീച്ചർ പറഞ്ഞില്ല, പിന്നെ എങ്ങനെ കേൾക്കുന്നേ?
പറഞ്ഞു Okay, sorry, sir.
നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് ഇഷ്യൂ ആയിട്ട്
Network.
കേട്ടുവരുന്നു.
Okay, sir. Okay.
അപ്പം ഞാൻ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യട്ടെ ടീച്ചറെ?
Okay, sir.
ഓക്കെ. എന്റെ സ്നേഹസമ്പന്നരായ KSA കുടുംബാംഗങ്ങളെ, ആദ്യമായിട്ട് KSAയുടെ സാരഥ്യ സ്ഥാനത്ത് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന നമ്മുടെ മഹാരാജാസ് കോളേജിലെ ശ്രീകുമാർ സാറിനെ മരിച്ചുകൊണ്ട്, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷം നമ്മുടെ ഈ മറ്റാരെങ്കിലും KSA മെമ്പേഴ്സ് ആയി നമ്മളിൽ നിന്ന് വിട്ട് അകന്ന് പോയിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവരെയും ഏവരെയും സ്മരിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഒരു നിമിഷം ഒരു മൗന പ്രാർത്ഥനമായിട്ട് അവർക്ക് ആദരാഞ്ജലികൾ അർപ്പിക്കാനായിട്ട് ഈ അവസരത്തെ ആദ്യം ഉപയോഗിക്കട്ടെ. ആദ്യം അവരുടെ ആത്മശാന്തിക്കായിട്ടൊരു നിമിഷം. ഓക്കെ. മൊത്തത്തില് ഒരുപാട് ആൾക്കാരുടെ, ഒരുപാട് വളരെ മഹാരഥന്മാരായ, എസ്പെഷ്യലി RN പിള്ള സാറിൻ്റെയും രാമകൃഷ്ണ പിള്ള സാറിൻ്റെയും പോലെയുള്ള ആൾക്കാരുടെ അക്ഷീണമായ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളുടെ ഫലമായിട്ടാണ് KSA രൂപം കൊള്ളുന്നത് 1978-79 കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ. അതിനുശേഷം പല പല ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസിലൂടെ KSA കടന്നു വരുന്ന കൂട്ടത്തിൽ ഒരു ചെറിയ ഏഡ് എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിലാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് എത്തി നിൽക്കുന്നത്. സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സിന്റെ ഒരുപാട് പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ ഓരോ കാലഘട്ടത്തിലും ഇടയ്ക്കൊക്കെ അധ്യാപകർക്ക് ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ, അവർക്ക് അവസരങ്ങൾ നിഷേധിക്കുന്ന പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് പോലുള്ള സബ്ജക്റ്റിലേക്ക് കടന്നു വരുമ്പോൾ കുട്ടികൾക്കുണ്ടാവുന്ന കൺസേൺസ്. പക്ഷെ ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ എത്തി നിൽക്കുന്ന ഒരു ചുറ്റുപാടിൽ ഒരുപാട് സാഹചര്യങ്ങൾ, ഒരുപാട് വളരാനും അവസരങ്ങൾ ഒരുപാടുള്ള ഒരു സബ്ജക്റ്റിന്റെ ലെവലിലാണ് നമ്മൾ എത്തി നിൽക്കുന്നത്. പക്ഷെ ആ ചുറ്റുപാടിൽ നമ്മൾ അതിനെ കാണുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഇപ്രാവശ്യം കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷം ഒരുപാട് പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് KSAയുടെ ആഭിമുഖ്യത്തിൽ തന്നെ ഈവൻ ഈ കോവിഡിന്റെ പശ്ചാത്തലത്തിൽ പോലും ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ വെബിനാറുകൾ തന്നെ നടത്തുകയുണ്ടായി. അതിനകത്ത് ലേറ്റസ്റ്റ് വെബിനാറാണ് നമ്മുടെ ആനുവൽ കോൺഫറൻസും ആയിട്ടാണ്, ആനുവൽ ജനറൽ ബോഡി മീറ്റിങ്ങോടുകൂടി ആനുവൽ കോൺഫറൻസ് കൂടെ ചേർത്താണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ജസ്റ്റ് ബിഫോർ നമ്മളിപ്പം കൺക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. ആ കോൺഫറൻസിന്റെ വിജയത്തിന് ആധാരമായ എല്ലാവരെയും അഭിനന്ദിക്കുവാൻ ഈ അവസരം ഉപയോഗിക്കാനും അവരെ നന്ദിയോടെ സ്മരിക്കാനും ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ ഞാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുക. ഈ അവസരത്തില് ഒരുപാട് നമ്മൾ ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരുപാട് സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ ഇപ്പൊ പുതിയ നമ്മുടെ ഇപ്പോഴുള്ള ഗവൺമെന്റ് ഒരുപാട് സ്ഥലങ്ങൾ അതിന്റെ അതുപോലെ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റികൾ വഴി ഒരുപാട് സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ MSc സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് പ്രോഗ്രാം വന്നിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു വർഷമാണിത്. MSc സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ MSc സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് വിത്ത് ഡേറ്റ അനലിറ്റിക്സ് എന്നും വിത്ത് മെഷീൻ ലേണിംഗ് എന്നോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസ് എന്നോ ഒക്കെ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് ലിങ്ക്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ ഓറിയന്റഡ് ആയിട്ടും ഒക്കെ ഒരുപാട് സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സിന്റെ പ്രാധാന്യം ഉൾക്കൊണ്ടുകൊണ്ട് ഒരുപാട് സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ അത്തരം കോഴ്സുകൾ വന്നിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ചുറ്റുപാടിലാണ്. ഈ ചുറ്റുപാടിൽ ഇത്തരം അവസരങ്ങളെ നമ്മൾ പോസിറ്റീവായി ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി ഇപ്പം മാത്രമല്ല സെൻട്രൽ ലെവലിൽ തന്നെ പല രീതിയിൽ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് പോലുള്ള സബ്ജക്റ്റിന്റെ പ്രാധാന്യം മനസ്സിലാക്കിക്കൊണ്ട് ഇപ്പൊ ഇന്ത്യൻ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്കൽ സർവീസിന്റെ എലിജിബിലിറ്റി തന്നെ MSc സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ BSc സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് എന്ന രീതിയിൽ ആക്കി മാറ്റുകയുണ്ടായി. അതുപോലെ സ്റ്റാഫ് സെലക്ഷൻ കമ്മീഷൻ നടത്തുന്ന ഈ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്കൽ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റിഗേറ്റർ പോസ്റ്റുകൾക്ക് 3 വർഷം സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് പഠിച്ച ഗ്രാജുവേറ്റ്സിനെ മാത്രം പരിഗണിക്കുന്ന അവസ്ഥയിലേക്ക് എത്തുകയുണ്ടായി. അപ്പൊ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സിന്റെ പഠനത്തെ ഗൗരവത്തിൽ കാണുന്ന തരത്തിലേക്ക് അവിടെയൊക്കെ ഉയരുകയുണ്ടായി. അപ്പം നമ്മുടെ ഇവിടെ എക്കണോമിക്സ് ആൻഡ് സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് ബ്യൂറോയിൽ ആ അവസരത്തിൽ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്കൽ അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് വിളിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് മറ്റൊരു
ലെവലിലാണ് എങ്കിൽ തന്നെയും അത് മാറേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. ഇവിടെയും റിസർച്ച് ഓഫീസറെയും ഒക്കെ വിളിക്കുമ്പോഴും ആ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്കൽ ലെവലിലുള്ള പ്രാധാന്യം നമുക്ക് വേണ്ടത്ര നേടിയെടുക്കേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതിന് നമ്മൾ ഒത്തൊരുമയോടുകൂടി ചില ശ്രമങ്ങൾ നടത്തേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പം ഇവിടുത്തെ പല കോളേജുകളിൽ പോലും ചില സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യുന്നത് സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് MSc ബിരുദം നേടി എലിജിബിലിറ്റി ശരിയായ ക്വാളിഫിക്കേഷൻ നേടാത്തവർ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട് എന്ന ആക്ഷേപം നിലനിൽക്കെ അത്തരം കാര്യങ്ങൾ ശ്രദ്ധയിൽപ്പെടുത്തുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയുള്ള മെമ്മോറാണ്ടങ്ങളും കാര്യങ്ങളും ഒക്കെ നമ്മൾ വീണ്ടും തുടരേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു, നൽകാനും ഒക്കെ തുടരേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. ഈ ചുറ്റുപാടിൽ നമ്മൾ ഇതുപോലുള്ള കോൺഫറൻസ് നടക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ യങ്സ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള അധ്യാപകരും യങ്സ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള റിസർച്ചേഴ്സും സ്റ്റുഡൻസും ഒക്കെ പ്രത്യേകം ശ്രദ്ധിക്കേണ്ടത് ഇത്തരം കോൺഫറൻസുകൾക്കും ഇത്തരം കൂട്ടായ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളിലും അവരുടെ അവരുടെ പൂർണ്ണമായ സഹകരണം എല്ലാ തലത്തിലും അത് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിലായാലും പുതിയ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കുന്നതിലായാലും ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടാവണം. എങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ നമുക്ക് തുടർന്ന് വരുന്ന കാലഘട്ടങ്ങളിൽ നമ്മുടെ സ്ഥാനമാനങ്ങൾ നമുക്ക് കിട്ടേണ്ട അവസരങ്ങൾ നഷ്ടപ്പെടാതെ നിലനിർത്തി കൊണ്ടുപോകാൻ കഴിയുള്ളൂ. ഇപ്പൊ നേരത്തെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഒരു ചുറ്റുപാടിൽ കൊമേഴ്സുകാർ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സിന്റെ ഇതെടുത്തു, അല്ലെ എക്കണോമിക്സുകാർ എടുത്തു എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന ചുറ്റുപാടിനെ നമ്മുടെയും കൂടെ നമ്മൾ ഉത്തരവാദിത്വമായി എടുത്തുകൊണ്ട് ഇപ്പം ജെയിൻ ടീച്ചർ അവിടെ ആ ടോപ്പിക്സുകൾ ടീച്ചർ എടുക്കാം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് ആ മാനേജ്മെന്റിനെ ബോധ്യപ്പെടുത്തി ആ വർക്ക് ലോഡുകൾ എടുത്തതുപോലെ എല്ലാ മേഖലകളിലും നമ്മൾ കൂടുതൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ തയ്യാറാവുന്നതായിട്ട്. ഒപ്പം തന്നെ ഇനിയും ഭാവിയിൽ വരാൻ പോകുന്നതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഈ ഡേറ്റ അനലിറ്റിക്സ് പോലുള്ള ടോപ്പിക്സിലേക്ക് മറ്റ് മേഖലകളിൽ നിന്നുള്ളവർ കടന്നു വരാൻ സാധ്യത ഏറെയാണ്. എസ്പെഷ്യലി എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് മേഖലകളിൽ നിന്നുള്ളവരാവാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ സയൻസ് മേഖലകളിൽ നിന്നുള്ളവരാവാം, ഒക്കെ വരാം. അപ്പൊ അവിടെ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സുകാർ തന്നെ ഇത്തരം ടോപ്പിക്സ് പഠിച്ചെടുക്കുകയും കാര്യങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കി അതിൽ മാസ്റ്റർ ചെയ്യുകയും ഒപ്പം അവര് അതിനകത്ത് കൂടുതൽ ഇവയൊക്കെ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് ഓറിയന്റഡ് ആണ്. മെയിൻലി വേണ്ടത് സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ആണ്. ഇത് തിരിച്ചറിഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് അവർ ഒക്കെ നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികളെ ആ രൂപത്തിൽ രൂപപ്പെടുത്തിയെടുക്കേണ്ടത് ഒരു അത്യാവശ്യമായ കാര്യമാണ്. ആ ചുറ്റുപാടിൽ നമ്മുടെ യങ്സ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള അധ്യാപകർക്കും ഈ റിസർച്ചേഴ്സിനും ഒക്കെ അവർക്ക് ഒരുപാട് കടമകൾ അല്ല അവരുടെ ഉത്തരവാദിത്തങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടെന്ന കാര്യം നമ്മൾ വളരെ ശ്രദ്ധയോടുകൂടി വളരെ പ്രാധാന്യത്തോടുകൂടി മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. അപ്പം നമ്മുടെ ഇന്ന് രാവിലെ നമ്മുടെ കോൺഫറൻസ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പം KS റാവുവിന്റെ സെഷൻ തുടങ്ങുമ്പം ആ തുടങ്ങുന്ന സമയത്ത് വളരെ കുറച്ച് ആൾക്കാർ മാത്രമേ ആ സെഷനിൽ കണ്ടുള്ളൂ. ഞാൻ പറയുകയുണ്ടായി അവിടെ ഒരു ഓഫ്ലൈൻ പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ് കൂടി ഉണ്ട് എന്ന, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അത് നമുക്ക് നാണക്കേടായിട്ട് വരും. കാരണം ഒരു എൻഡോമെന്റ് ലെക്ചറാണ്, പ്രൊഫസർ AM മത്തായി എൻഡോമെന്റ് ലെക്ചർ നടത്താനായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ക്ഷണിച്ച് വരുത്തിയ പ്രൊഫസർ KS റാവുവിന്റെ ടോക്കിന്റെ സമയത്ത് നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സിൽ നമ്മുടെ KSയിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാർ തന്നെ വേണ്ടത്ര ഉണ്ടോ എന്ന് എനിക്ക് സംശയമുണ്ടായി. അപ്പം ഇത്തരം പ്രോഗ്രാംസിലെല്ലാം കഴിഞ്ഞ ദിവസം ഒരു കോൺട്രിബ്യൂട്ടറി സെഷനിൽ തന്നെ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആൾക്കാർ